And ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the NOSSCAR Showdown, 4th annual NOSSCAR Showdown, live from Texas Motor Speedway on NASCAR Heat 5. And they are rocking and rolling here. It's a 43-lap event, 11 drivers, and the top 4 advance to the All-Star race later tonight. The top 2 drivers amongst the former champions in the field also advance. So there's a lot on the line and there's a lot going on. Certain drivers are not worrying about other drivers and they're just trying to race the cars around them that are on their agenda. I'm NOSSCAR CEO and founder Tyler McMurder, alongside FRR, Bad Fast Marley, and two-time NOSSCAR champion Ayrton Frederick. Our in-race reporter is Cameron Norton, and thanks to all of you for joining me.
I'm glad to be here. No problem.
Seen a lot so far in the early going of this race. Nobody really falling too far behind. They're all in one big group. It's Aqua Taddy that was on the pole for this showdown event, and he has since then found the outside wall and has lost some track position. And as of right now, it is Rumble Strip in the number 66. He leads the race in that Ford Mustang with the number 43 of Trey Hollywood running in second, and former NOSSCAR champion Napa Fan 24 Nick Francesco scored in third in that number 62. Inside line seems to be the place to be early in the going. That's where most of the passes have been made. The 43 just used the inside line to defend that second place position. Now gets a good push from the car right behind him there, and that's the 32 of Blake Henderson. The draft pretty powerful here at Texas Motor Speedway. These mile-and-a-halves. And everybody trying to work their way towards the run, pick them off one at a time. You get held out to the outside. We've seen a couple of cars lose position and contact there. That was the 53 and the 1 car.
We're seeing the battle heat up here for the lead. We have Rumble Strip sitting there in that first spot, but we got a big battle going on for second right now as they look to line up and try to catch up to this leader.
And that might be the only hope they have. Remember, folks, 43 laps, no cautions, the black flags are on. Fuel and tire wear is at ×3, so these drivers will be having to come to pit road a number of times over the course of this race. And so far, they're all chasing James Martin in the number 66 Ford Mustang. The 32, Blake Henderson, under fire to the inside goes Nick Francesco, the driver of the 62 there. Brendan Gaughan machine. And Kevin Tattersall working his way back to the front. The pole sitter 3 wide as they go into turn 1.
Just as you touched on there, Timac, tire wear is going to be huge here. Who set their car up for the long run? Like you said, this is 43 laps, no cautions. This is going to be a true test of the driver.
Absolutely it is, and we just saw Blake Henderson in the 32 find the outside wall. He's going to lose a number of positions. He's still in this lead pack.
Caught the wall.
Oh, there's action all over this racetrack. Good battles all over this racetrack. They were thinking about 3 wide again. Jeffrey Robinson Jr. in the 18 was, but then thought better of it and settles in behind the 32 of Blake Henderson, who's trying to make a charge back to the front. And Cameron Norton in the 88 right there as well. Ayrton, what are you seeing out there?
Right now I'm watching Kevin Tattersall on the 1 car. He's right back on the back bumper of the 66. You mentioned earlier he started on pole, but then had a little meeting with the outside wall and fell back outside the top 5. But a couple laps ago he put a very nice 3-wide move through the tri-oval, and now he's really closing up. And the thing that these guys running 2nd, 3rd, and 4th have to do all race is not let the leader get away. Draft is super important, especially on these mile-and-a-halves. And right now they are staying in line and closing up, and this 1 car might have a look at the leader.
One thing you'll really notice is that the 66 car he was really fast, lightning fast on those first opening laps, and it looks like he's starting to lose the car a little bit off of turn 4 and turn 2, where you'll really notice the loose car as we have a pass on the inside. K-Taddy in the 1 car looking for that lead.
To the inside goes Kevin Tattersall, Giggity Racing League founder, and he's going to take that position away from James Martin. And Trey Hollywood in the 43, not letting either of them get away, and it looks like the top 3 have actually broken away from the rest of the field. Jeffrey Robinson Jr., Trenton Krentz, 2 former champions, run 3rd and 4th, and they're currently in a position to advance to the All-Star race later tonight. And Kevin Tattersall, he's in a position to advance as well. Just made a pass on James Martin, Trey Hollywood. See, the thing is, they're all in a position to advance to the All-Star race later tonight, so there really is not too big of a deal, big urgency to battle with each other for these positions. They know they're in a good spot, and they just kind of need to keep doing what they're doing, and that's drive away. But now here comes Trey Hollywood to the inside in 3 and 4. And around goes the 66 of James Martin right in front of an oncoming group of cars. He's going to keep it up there towards the outside wall. No damage was given to him or any other car for that matter, but that is a heartbreaker for James.
That was a huge example of that loose off the exit there, as his car just wanted to step out a little bit. Whereas if you look at this one car of Aquatati right now, Kevin Tattersall, he is just painting this track right now. I mean, inside, just painting the inside line and then bringing it right out to the wall. The car is not kicking out loose or anything. He's on a railroad, you would say.
Seems to be in a bit of a league of his own, Ayrton.
Yeah, but right now here comes that 43 car who just had that contact with the 66. He really closes up there into turn 3. The draft definitely a big factor on these straightaways. And we'll see if they battle hard enough for the lead. Like you said, you don't necessarily have to win this race to advance, but there is a pride factor, and these guys are all racers, and they want to get that W.
Throw it down to the M-Race reporter, Cameron Norton, driver of the number 88 Chevy Camaro, currently scored in the 6th position. Cameron, how's the car feeling? What's the vibe out there like so far?
Really, really loose. Seeing a lot of loose race cars. Tires are going to matter here. We're going to have to pit pretty soon here. That's for sure.
Well, expect green flag cycles of pit stops to begin here in just a matter of moments, Marley. It's here in life.
Yeah, it's looking like a lot of cars are actually making their pit stops. We see the 66 coming out of pit road, as well as the 18 of Juicy J.
That's huge, too, because what this does is gives them 4 fresh Goodyear Eagles to use sooner, while everybody else is still out there on very worn, very old tires, struggling on the lap times, and they might be able to leapfrog some of these drivers, get some track position back. But the thing about it is, it kind of goes both ways, like a teeter-totter. Those fresh tires that the cars pit later, once they get those 4 fresh Goodyear Eagles, they'll maybe be able to charge back and get that track position back. But short pitting does sometimes work because of the difference between the grip levels, fresh tires to new. And we saw another car dive down pit road there, and that was Cameron Norton, the driver of the number 88. He was the 2nd highest seeded driver in the point standings in the Platinum Cup Series to not be locked into the All-Star race. Came into this race with high hopes, qualified 2nd for this race, and coming to pit road a little early here.
One thing that's huge on what you just talked about, as far as the track position gained by pitting early and staying out. These cars that pit early, it depends on the track, and Texas is a high tire wear track, so your lap times fall off tremendously, especially on these preset sliders, which I like to refer to as iRocks. These cars, the time falls off so much that these guys pitting early, they're able to make up so much time on track now. If they're able to find that clean track and just set qualifying laps, it'll give them a huge lead compared to the guys that are staying out. However, when those guys that pit later come out with them fresh tires, they're going to be lightning fast and be able to run these guys down. It's just, will they have enough time, Ty?
Exactly, and time will tell, as they always say. And former champion Alan Richardson in the 42, he was on pit road getting service, and another NOSSCAR champion coming to pit road here. Those drivers looking for a top 2 amongst the 6 former champions in the field, and around goes Blake Henderson in the number 32 Ford Mustang. That's right at the entrance to pit road. He was trying to bring it down for a pit stop, and some damage was done to the nose of that Ford Mustang. Might cost him an extra second or 2 on his pit stop.
Yep, we got the 11 of Even Steven also on pit road as well.
Yes, sir. 2-time NASCAR world champion from Gran Turismo Sport, looking for that top 2 finish amongst the former champions in the field.
And our leaders just made their pit stop. We had the 43 and the 1 car make their pit stops.
62 Absolutely. At the inside wall on his entry. Got a little loose off the banking and hit that inside wall.
And some nose damage for Nick Donfrancesco, another former champion. So some of the former champions in the field, they have two different ways that they can advance to the All-Star race, a top 4 finish or a top 2 amongst the former champions in the field. And so, yeah, some of them have some damage to repair on these pit stops.
Ty, I'm interested to see where Aquatati, who was our leader, comes out here amongst the drivers that have already made their pit stops.
Couldn't agree more. This is definitely going to shake up the running order just a little bit, especially since some drivers elected to come, 2, 3, 4 laps sooner than others. So we might see some track position change, but we might see those drivers who just made a trip down pit road recently soldier back on by them over the course of the long run. We'll get an update on who the race leader as of right now is from our in-race reporter, Cameron Norton.
Right now, it's trouble.
He's in the pits right now, though.
So it should cycle back around the Taddy.
Yep, he's going by right now.
Yep.
So Harold Burton on pit road surrenders the race lead. He qualified 3rd for this race. He's a long-time NASCAR driver, a couple of wins in his career. And Kevin Tattersall is going to take the race lead back here. And it's going to be Trey Hollywood scored in 2nd, and Trenton Krentz in the 11 car, I believe, scored in the 3rd position. And that's a good battle right there for the 2nd and 3rd positions.
It looks like Kevin Tattersall made his way on the pit road and off the pit road just a little bit better than the rest of these guys, as he gained himself almost a 2-second lead off the pit road.
One of the pros, that's for sure. One of the very best here on the NASCAR Heat games. That is Kevin Tattersall. Arguably the only reason why he's having to go through the showdown to advance his way to the NASCAR All-Star race is because he's currently not in the top 10 in the point standings for the NASCAR Platinum Cup Series, and that's only because he's missed a handful of races. So, yeah, he was one of the heavy favorites coming into this NASCAR Showdown event here tonight. He's going to have company here, though, in just a little bit. Kind of looks like Trenton Krentz in the 11 is really gaining ground here.
I was just going to tell you about that, Ty. It looks like the 11 car of Even Steven, he has quite a short-run car. His car is on fire right now as he closed up that gap in no time as he makes his way around the 1 car of Kevin Tattersall and takes that lead.
Gotta wonder if there's maybe some fuel consumption strategy going on with Kevin Tattersall, or if the 2-time NASCAR World Champion is just that fast here tonight at Texas Motor Speedway. Off and around Kevin goes. Trenton Krentz, and he takes the race lead as they fly into turn 3. He's never won a NASCAR race on a NASCAR Heat game. He very well might be closing in on winning the NASCAR Showdown here tonight.
17 laps to go.
Hell, they click off quickly here, Ayrton.
Yeah, you're right. And to touch on that fuel situation, I'm not sure if that could be a factor, but that 1 car last few laps did not look like he was pushing. He wasn't going all the way to the outside wall on the back straightaway, and right now it looks like he's put the pedal to the metal a little harder because he hasn't let the 11 drive off like he closed up, but yeah, could have saved a little bit of fuel, and we'll see if the 11 has to do the same.
I know from experience there, Ayrton, that 1 car likes to flirt with his prey a little bit before he pounces for the win. So maybe he's just playing around right now.
Well,
very well done.
The nose of the Camaros does kind of resemble a shark face, if you ask me. I don't know. And the Jaws music might be cued for Kevin Tattersall, but he's got about 7 or 8 car lengths to close in order to challenge Trenton Krentz for the lead. But as we just mentioned, he very well might be trying to save his fuel. Let's throw it down to the Embrace reporter, driver, the number 88 Chevy Camaro, Cameron Norton, to find out a little bit more about the fuel mileage situation.
I think the cars that pitted earlier are going to probably have to pit. But the guys that stayed out, they might be able to make it just barely. So it's going to be close to see what games are being played and what games are not.
Are you still on the track, Cameron?
Yes.
Okay. It's showing me that you're not, so that's good.
Well, it certainly...
I see him. He's in the pits.
It certainly looks like the 11 car is not saving any fuel whatsoever. So if that 1 car was able to save his fuel just a bit to stretch this the way, I mean, he gave up maybe 2 seconds or so on track, but it looks like he's back to full throttle at this moment, and he is running that 11 down now.
going to be interesting to see how this all unfolds. We know fuel is going to be a factor here. So these drivers might be pretty close, and judging by what Cam...
battle for the lead there, John.
Yeah, there he goes, back to the inside. Maybe Kevin has saved the fuel that he needed to save, because off he goes and retakes the race lead from Trenton Krentz. That's the battle for the lead as they go into turns 1 and 2. It's Nick Don Francesco in the number 62 just in front of them. Heavy front end damage, and he's probably going to go a lap down here shortly.
It looks like the two of these cars had different strategies as far as saving fuel. It looks like Kevin Tattersall decided to save his early, you know, take a little bit of a loss and then go for it. And it looks like the 11 decided to go for it and then save a little on the late end. And it's not working out just the way that he had pictured. But the two of these cars are running 1 and 2, and that is great for advancing to the All-Star race.
Absolutely it is. It's going to get them in. We can also mention James Martin in the 66. Remember, he was leading earlier in this race, and then he spun near the start-finish line. He's come in for service. I believe he is on the 2 pit stop strategy here at Texas, and he's hoping that everybody else is going to run out before the end of this one. So is Harold Burden in the 53. I think nobody went further than he did before making a pit stop. So if anyone is good to go to the end without having to save any fuel at all, it's that number 53 Camaro of Harold. 42 on pit road. That is Alan Richardson, former NASCAR champion from NASCAR 15 Victory Edition on the PlayStation 3 console. There you see him leading. They're all still chasing Kevin Tattersall in the 1. And if you were looking for Trenton Krentz, he's no longer in plain view behind Kevin at this time. He's really fallen off the pace to try to save the fuel that he needs. And we should also update the viewers that Blake Henderson in the number 32 has just made his way down pit road. So I don't think many of these drivers can make it the distance without having to pit again. It's going to get close here.
You're right, and one thing that could happen, it's what happened in the Vegas playoff race in the Truck Series, and how I won it is maybe you can't make it all the way, but if you can gap them enough, you can roll home and not really have to worry about it. So that if these guys up front can't make it in terms of having fuel in their tank when they cross the line, they still could have enough of a gap behind them where they can roll home safely.
I couldn't agree more. Trey Hollywood in the 43 runs in 3rd. Harold Burden in the 53 runs in 4th, and I believe they might both be good on fuel. We saw Trey in the 43 battling with Trenton Krentz for a bit when they both came out of the pits, but Trenton left him, and it might have been because Trey in the 43 saw what was coming from a mile away, to be more specific, maybe about 22 miles away, and he was able to start saving that fuel early, and now here he goes, takes the 2nd position away from Trenton Krentz, and it looks like Harold Burden in the 53 is coming up to do the same here.
It's not looking good for that 11 car, as he did not save that fuel early, and these guys that saved their fuel early are making their way to the front, as the 43 and the 53 also make their way around the 11.
7 laps to go.
Oh man, so if anyone's going to run out here or blow a tire, it's going to happen very soon. The only thing going here for Trenton Krentz in the 11 is he's good on the track position that he has. There goes the 32, but he's been to pit road already. Remember, a top 4 finish gets you into the All-Star race, and for the former champions in NASCAR, they have a second way that they could get in, and that is a top 2 finish amongst all the former NASCAR champions. So it's going to be really interesting to see who makes it to the end of this race on the fuel and tires and who doesn't. All I know is, and problems there for trouble for you, and that is Harold Burden. He's the one that's got the most fuel in the tank amongst all these drivers, but now he drops back to the 4th position with some damage to the right side. They're all chasing Kevin Tattersall in the closing laps. Sorry.
Oh, it's okay. I believe the 32 is on that two-stop strategy. We watched him lose it just a bit coming onto pit road, but it looks like he's got just a little bit fresher tires than everybody on this track as he's making his way up to this 43 of Papa Hollywood right now.
Looking to advance to the All-Star race tonight, that is the goal. We can also let you know Jeffrey Robinson Jr. on pit road, I believe, and motionless, unless it's just on my screen. We've had those technical errors before. Yeah, that's an unfortunate. And we can also tell you Nick Don Francesco has taken one of his laps back, I believe the only one he was down, back the hard way from Kevin Tattersall in the 1. But keep in mind, I believe Kevin is trying to save his fuel and manage the massive gap that he has opened up over the drivers running second on back. And if he can, he's going to win the showdown, and he's going to advance to the All-Star race later tonight. And ladies and gentlemen, the 4th annual NOSSCAR All-Star race will be brought to you live on the Left Turn Broadcasting YouTube channel, folks. So youtube.com/Left Turn Broadcasting. Don't forget to head over there, hit the like and subscribe button on their channel, and tune into the action later tonight. Broadcast should begin at about 9 to 9:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Absolutely. We have an awesome broadcast action packed for you. We got some great racing coming. And definitely, like Ty said, hit that like and subscribe.
Ayrton, what are you seeing out there, buddy? We're in the final few laps. 3 laps to go.
Right now, I'm watching this 43 car and listening to his throttle inputs. He is really saving it. I mean, I don't even think he's half throttle at all around this track. He's just had 2 or 3 cars that were a lap down fly right by him. So this 43 car, 11 car behind him, Trent and Krentz as well, they're really being careful with their fuel.
They know they're in a position to advance. All they need to do is manage the gap that they've built up over the field and the fuel that they have left in the fuel tank, and they're all going to be a part of the All-Star race later tonight. As for everybody else who's been to pit road for a second pit stop, they're hammered down full throttle trying to get every position that they possibly can, and they're hoping, they're praying for everyone to start sputtering on fuel. The leader is working his way down the back straightaway and into turn 3 now. Kevin Tattersall, when he comes out of turn 4, I believe he's going to see the white flag. Yeah, to signal the end, or excuse me, the final lap rather, of the NOSSCAR Showdown, 4th annual NOSSCAR Showdown. It was Chris Pendle, No Shift Pendle, winning the event last year, the number 32 Ford Mustang, advancing his way into the All-Star race, and he would go on to finish in the top 5 in that event. So it really goes to show you, once you're in the show, anything can happen. And Kevin Tattersall in the 1 is really backing down his pace on the back straightaway.
He got it.
Most of the cars I'm seeing might have just...
It looks like our tracker may have been a lap down. Kevin Tattersall is your winner.
Checkered flags are in the air. Kevin Tattersall is going to hoist the trophy at the end of this, but more importantly, he's going to race for that All-Star victory later tonight. Congratulations to Kevin and the number 1 team. Take photos of the results for us, Cameron, and give us a rundown on who finished where.
Bubba got 2nd, Trouble 3rd, Even Steven 4th, Napa Fan 5th. I am just taking the screenshot right now. Sending it.
Great stuff. So Trenton Krentz is going to advance to the All-Star race. Trey Hollywood in the 43, Harold Burden in the 53. They will advance to the All-Star race. We'll give you a full rundown of the entry list and the driver lineup for the All-Star race at the top of the broadcast on Left Turn Broadcasting. And that'll start at about 9 to 9:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time later tonight on YouTube. So I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in to the 4th annual NOSSCAR Showdown. Marley, sum up the race from your perspective. What did you think of the event here tonight at Texas?
We seen some strategies. We seen some great racing. Definitely fuel was a factor here, and it looked like that one car of Kevin Tattersall was very experienced. I think that's a good word, experienced. He came in here, he had a plan, and he executed it 100% without any flaws, and he came away with the victory.
2-time NOSSCAR champion Ayrton Frederick. We watched a great race there. Sum up the race from your perspective and tell us a little bit about your strategy maybe for the All-Star race later tonight, unless that's given a little too much away.
Well, I won't give too much away, but I will say that Marley hit it right on the head. It was a fuel mileage race. Definitely had to save the tires as well. So it's about who is the most patient, who is the most disciplined, and obviously Kevin Tattersall, one of the best in the business. We knew he'd be great in this race and one of the favorites to advance. But a bunch of guys we saw really manage their stuff really well. Tires were an issue in that first stint. Saw a couple guys getting loose, but as the race went on, everybody learned how to control the tires, and it was a really good race.
Cameron, you were in the number 88 car for this event. You got a top 10 finish. You were right in the thick of things, right out there where all the action was. What did you see and what all unfolded?
It was mainly a bunch of loose race cars out there. I mean, I was very loose. I didn't think I was going to be that loose. The car it was just not acting right tonight. Amelia didn't do her thing, so we'll be at home watching it.
Safe to say that coming out of turn 4 was maybe the hot spot for the cars getting a little upset?
Yeah, a lot of the cars, there's just no telling why cars get loose down there, but it's just, once you get back on that throttle, it just snaps from underneath you, and there's some ways to enter into that corner, and sometimes you don't get loose off there, sometimes you will. But it's mainly the driver that, it causes that.
Good stuff. Well, thank you for being a part of the showdown, and we would like to let the viewers know Kevin Tattersall, Trey Hollywood, Harold Burton, Trenton Krentz, Nick Don Francesco, and Blake Henderson. They all advance to the NOSSCAR All-Star race later tonight from the showdown. They had to go through one extra race, one extra task, one extra hurdle to hop over, but it's going to feel that much sweeter if one of these drivers can park it in victory lane for the 4th annual NOSSCAR All-Star race for the Platinum Cup Series later tonight live on NASCAR Heat 5 at Texas Motor Speedway. Left Turn Broadcasting covering the event. Don't miss it, folks. We will see you there. Thanks for tuning in.